Welcome back to another edition of SVG's Sports Tech on Demand. I'm Dan Daly, SVG's audio editor, and today I've got the pleasure of speaking with Mark Davies. He's the Director of Products and Technology at TSL Products. Mark, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Dan.
All right, good to hear. Good to hear. Today, we want to discuss the increasing demands that live sports production is experiencing in the form of, for instance, the number of physical circuits, the number of channels, the supported number of audio formats, the increased power requirements. These are all impacting workflow. How is TSL reacting to those dynamics?
That's a really interesting question, Dan. So it's a big challenge as obviously the sports broadcasters want to squeeze more and more kit into their OB trucks. We clearly have limited rack rooms, so if they want to increase functionality, like more formats or more circuits, then we have to make our stuff smaller, it's a big challenge, particularly at the moment because we're in a world of transition. So we have everything ranging from traditional analog audio formats all the way through to 10 gig IP Ethernet signals. So if we have something like our PAM top of the range unit, which is going to go in an A1 position and has to be able to monitor anything at the push of a button, that's a real challenge. And of course, we've not only got the media side of it to worry about, but as the trucks get bigger, more and more stuff has to be automated and under remote control. So control is a big issue as well. So our units increasingly, although they're an endpoint, are having to control. So they have to use modern protocols like AMWAS MMOS or maybe EMMA Plus to push back upstream and select the audio source they want to listen to. So it's an increasing challenge, we'll say, with a number of formats and a number of different control requirements on the units. Plus, the trucks now have so many different people in them, so you go all the way from the audio guarantee right through to the individual operators. And there are many, many points where people want to monitor both audio and video. And those span to us as many different price points. Obviously, the A1 needs top quality, needs to hear absolutely what's going to air, what's going to disc. Whereas someone who's just a linesman just needs to hear the right lines plugged in. So we need a good spread of products as well. So we all the way from our PAM IP at the top of the range, which is sort of really do anything for anyone, down to entry-level products like the MPA1 range, which will go traditional formats, SDI, hybrid operations with things like Dante and AS67 now. And we just introduced an IP as well, where you can push 10 gig into our entry-level platform with the MPA1 IP. So a real challenge as the size of the boxes reduces as well. Obviously, we have to keep the heat down, which is an engineering challenge, but in many ways is a good thing, because as we reduce the power consumption to keep heat down, then obviously overall that helps reduce the carbon footprint of the whole truck. So it's at the end of the day challenging, but good for the environment.
You just covered a lot of ground right there. I mean, you talked about not only the products, but you talked about the spread. You talked about from very high-end broadcasting down through, we're seeing a lot more things taking place at the podcasting level, at the sub-professional sports level, that sort of thing. And then you managed to also touch on environmental issues. So you covered a lot of ground there, which was great. What kind of effect has COVID had on sports production from the TSL perspective?
So we were pretty well placed because fundamentally a third of our product is control systems anyway. So we're well across control, and we've always had the mantra control is king. So all of our products, power, audio and control, go out fully equipped with many different protocols. So obviously a lot of people were using our stuff for REMI applications anyway. Those who weren't found they had boxes in their hands that were fully equipped to connect into them. So things like our DNF control platform, we added overnight effectively a function called remote keys on web keys on that, which meant people remotely could push a key on any control panel, be it in a truck or a studio, so they could run up a standard web browser on their PC at home and have access to those real physical keys. So it's been challenging. Again, talking about the density of trucks, to some extent that's taken pressure off a bit as people are social distanced in trucks, but we now see that's already coming to an end. So the trucks are coming back to full capacity as well.
Right. Well, in a lot of ways, the audio people, the A1s aboard, were always had their own little space on there. So that
Yeah.
yeah. Is there a recent sports event that you can put your finger on that really kind of encapsulates where TSL kind of shines in this whole production throughput?
So some of the biggest events in the US, obviously all of the truck manufacturers at the Super Bowl, something like that. So we had a presence across all of the trucks there. Things like the NASCAR racing and going worldwide, things like Formula One, we still have a big presence there. I mean, Formula One actually upgraded some of their power infrastructure because we give the ability to remotely shut down power when everything's done and dusted. So that reduces the number of engineers on site.
That's great. Sounds like TSL was perfectly positioned for the way things have been turning out and the way things are going to turn out now that we're looking at the far end of the pandemic finally.
Yeah, it's been interesting and challenging times, but I think going in with our mantra of control is king has served us well.
Well, may we live in interesting times. So, Mark Davies, TSL, thanks very much. Stay well and stay healthy.
Thanks a lot, Dan. You have a good day.
You too. Cheers.